Hello, my name is Theo Black.
And I'm Sarah Black.
And here's our review in under 3 minutes for The Green Fog. No spoilers? It's an experimental film?
We're not going to give away the ending. It's an experimental film using clips from old movies and television to reimagine Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Okay, quick talk about experimental films. I like experimental films. They are for a very niche audience. You don't sit around on Friday and think, well, Ready Player One, oh, Lady Bird's still on, or there's The Green Fog. No, you have to, go find these movies if you're interested in them.
Yeah.
And I am. And this is an interesting one because it's basically an experiment in editing and how you can kind of remake a film from other films. And the funny thing is I didn't remember Vertigo that well. I've seen it not even that long ago, but watching it, it reminded me of Vertigo. But then it also did really interesting things with context and seeing clips outside of their original film and how that felt even as it was trying to make another film. It created an interesting effect.
I agree. I enjoyed this film. I'll admit I'm not a huge experimental film guy. I like characters and emotions, and not that experimental films don't have that. This one didn't really. They're really academic and intellectual, and it's an interesting intellectual thought and sort of process and sort of like doing the whole thing. But it does leave me bored just occasionally. It's really not that long. It's only 60 minutes. The other thing I'd say is you do have to see Vertigo to really get the full effect of this film. You can get something from this film without that, but you need to have, if you don't see Vertigo, you don't get the whole thing about context.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to think about, I liked how it was looking backwards and forwards in time, essentially. It's kind of self-referential in a funny way, but while it's doing that, it's really making the point that, film is this vernacular that we've learned, and it changes over time, and context changes over time, and sort of, I liked that, and looking at what, even a scene without dialogue might do.
Those were surprisingly funny.
Yeah.
And just, you could tell it was almost overwrought without dialogue. It was they were just telegraphing their emotions on their faces. And you wouldn't notice that normally.
No, because when there's dialogue, you start thinking about what they're saying. And so, that's even sort of an interesting exploration of acting. And it's interesting.
Yeah. So if you're curious about experimental films, this is an interesting one. I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I see Vertigo, then see this, and have a good time.
It's not an alternative to Ready Player One.
No.
This is the kind of movie that you should talk about after you see it, so you'll find us on Twitter.
Again, with spoilers, I guess. There are spoilers for other movies.
You'll find me at Pigeon_Sarah.
And me at Pigeon_Theo.